with the Old Bull Young Calf Boston Sports Podcast pregame show, and it certainly runs in the family because my dad and I are taking turns taking these weird vacations during a very inopportune time. If you're trying to do what we're trying to do for two successful Boston teams in the Celtics and Bruins, so my dad is not here. I have my buddy Tim Hilliard, so this takes away about half of our, or maybe more of our live stream chat because as Tim is usually in here giving us a bit of content. So anybody out there who is listening and wants to chime in, please do so to make up for Tim's absence as he's now physically here. So welcome to the show, Tim.
Great to be here.
Replacing the old bull. So first question right off the bat, I'm used to some intense, change the name. I'm already getting scolded by the old bull. Wrong name. So I'm going to be fixing that. But the first question, Tim, I'm
Yep.
very used to pessimism and everything. How do you feel about this game? And just right off the bat.
In my opinion, we're still playing with house money. I love the underdog tag. We're not expected to win this, so I think that's the best position to be playing from. I think home ice doesn't mean anything. I think it's just, I'm hoping that we leave it all out there today. Like we don't get comfortable being at home. I want to see some heavy forechecking on, chasing after pucks, and I'd love to see some solid control of the neutral zone and the blue line.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think, like you said, we're playing with house money. We got our captain back. That's big. And I think, and I shared this with my dad, that if we win tonight, I think it's really hard to say that we are not the favorites for the remainder of the series. I mean, for Game 7, we've already proven we can win on the road in Game 7. And like you just said, home ice really hasn't seemed to make a difference for this Bruins team. If anything, we play better away. It's almost as if we have to muscle through this home game, get a victory at home so we can almost coast away. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know why it's been this way, but we've seemed to show up.
I mean,
So
I think one of the big reasons is like we try to be a skilled team and like play those extra passes, and the garden ice just doesn't help with that. And pucks never sit; they're always on edge. They're just it's so tough to play that game. So I think we need a lot of luck tonight.
yeah, and for some reason the boards are not set right. It's very strange. Puck luck, I think, plays a lot bigger role when we're at home, which is odd. And it is getting a bit warmer up here in Massachusetts, so the ice seems to deteriorate. I don't get it. We are supposed to be one of the hockey meccas. The amount of talent we push out with our colleges and everything, you think we'd have our act together, but it obviously doesn't seem to be that way. So we're at home. Marchand is back. I think this is strikingly similar to the series that we saw, from the Maple Leafs, the situation when the Maple Leafs faced last series against us. Captain is back. Do you take that as a good thing, a bad thing? How do you feel about it?
I liked how we played without the captain, in that we wanted to go out there and win it for him. But I do think we're a better team with him. Um, I think what I would like to see is Pasta keep pushing in that elevated leadership role. I think it really suited him. He
Yep.
helped drive things, and I want to see that more. So that's the only change. I don't want it to go away, but I do think we're a better team with him. I think it strengthens our bottom line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, you're actually the only person who told me that the C looked really good on Pasta, and Pasta definitely did play a lot better. He probably played one of his better games of the series, if not the best game of the series last game. So I think Marchand is not like Matthews. I think this is definitely a hit to the Panthers, us getting Marchand back. And I think this is probably the longest time Marchand has gone without playing hockey since last summer. Whenever the season started before last season. So this is really big. Hopefully he has super fresh legs. He doesn't look tired. The puck kind of sticks to his stick a little bit better,
Mm.
because he doesn't have to muscle through too much. So I think Marchand being added back is major. And like you said, we just got to hope Pastrnak keeps playing like Marchand's not there, and really, it carries a burden for us. And now you mentioned it strengthens our bottom lines. So that's kind of big because just like we've made some changes by adding Marchand back, the Panthers have added 2 guys back to their lineup. Nick Cousins, who I believe has been a healthy scratch, as well as Lomberg. So they're replacing 2 guys. Okaposo, he's the guy that they throw in the penalty box when they need to put somebody in the penalty box. So I don't think he's too much of a factor. And they're also replacing another guy, Lawrence, I believe. So they've made changes. They put fresh legs on their bottom lines. Nick Cousins is definitely a name that I know as a Bruins fan, facing the Panthers. He's given us some trouble. So we definitely need some strength down there in the bottom lines. Any feelings about that, Tim? I know it's kind of fourth liners. It's not too big.
I'm actually kind of shocked Paul Maurice made those changes. It seemed like he was pretty happy with how they played in that last game. So like, I'm hoping that just now, like, things are changing. It's screwing with the mojo.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree. Nick Cousins can definitely be a big factor. He plays a heavy game. I think when it comes to matching their physicality, it gives them a little bit more. But
Yeah.
I'm not super worried about it. I think we have enough to match him.
Yeah. I think he played in the first game when we absolutely smoked him. He only got 9 minutes. He actually was +1, and even though we beat them. Oh, wait, no. That's the game they beat us. They beat us 6-1. He got 10 minutes time on ice. He had 10. That's game 2. That's the only game he's played this entire postseason. So he just seems like one of those Bruins killers. His name kind of stands out to me more so than most other fourth liners. He pops up. He's been annoying. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it's the opposite end of fresh legs and more about rusty mistakes. That's what we got to hope for, is rusty mistakes. So now focusing on our team and our changes. I had the lines. Where are they? Okay. So DeBrusque, Geeky, Pastrnak. Geeky has been, I think, one of our better players overall in the playoffs. He's really popped off the screen, and it's kind of poetic because my dad slandered him so much at the start of the season. He wrote off Geeky just because of his name. My dad hated him because of his name.
I think Geeky is a mixed bag. Sometimes
Yeah,
he can be a well beater, but he can also lose us games, and that does scare me a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I at the same time, I appreciate that a bit more than Zaka, who tends to just disappear for games at a time, right?
I think we're so much better with Zaka on the third line.
Yeah, he's earned himself a big demotion.
Yeah.
So, second line, and you just spoiled it because I was supposed to get there. Second line is no Zaka. It's Coyle, Marchand, and Frederick. So Marchand moving to the second line. Frederick getting, I think, a bit of a bump. I've seen him bounce between the third and second line, and Coyle being that 2C for us. Geeky, our 1C, is very interesting. And then Heinen, Zaka, and Brazeau. So a lot of muscle on that third line. If we can hold someone still between Heinen and Brazeau, there's a lot of I don't know how much energy Heinen has, but the savvy vet throws his weight around. And then JVR,
though, that he seems like he can be a bit of a game changer, and that it's exciting.
I love the chip he has on his shoulder. He always brings energy. He almost never plays down to anybody. And I really appreciate that. And my dad and I were kind of clamoring for him halfway through last series. And since he's been in the games, you definitely notice him. He does not disappear. No offense, but like Boquist and a few other guys, they kind of disappear. Brazeau, even on that fourth line, you saw him almost constantly battling in the corners, no matter whether it's forecheck or back in our own zone. Then we got JVR, Beecher, and Maroon. The corpse of Pat Maroon is still finding his way into this lineup. He's probably bringing something that Montgomery likes and the team likes. So,
I've been watching some of the highlights, and specifically around Pat Maroon.
Okay, I didn't know he had highlights this post.
I've been watching Bruins highlights in general.
Yeah.
And the thing that I'm noticing about Pat Maroon, and probably why he's still in this team, is it seems that he is that leader on the line. Like, he is telling the guys what to do, where to be, how to, where to go. So he's dictating that line, even if he's maybe not the fastest skater anymore. He's kind of keeping it together, and I think that's a big plus for them.
Yeah, and he's got 2 days rest, right? This was, our first 2-day rest period, I think, in quite some time. So they talked about Montgomery did before the game. And we're 2 minutes over, but there's a bit of a pregame. That I don't know why they fluff it so much. So we'll put a few more minutes in here. They practiced between 3 and 4, and they felt like that really started to show in Game 4 and Game 5. So they were able to practice before Game 6 with this 2-game layoff. So hopefully we see a even better Bruins team. On the defense, we got Lindholm, McAvoy. So Lohrei has been bumped off the line with McAvoy, which is kind of strange. Lohrei, Carlo, our 2 best defensemen, I think, in my
I
opinion.
think that'll change quick. I think that Monty's had I've seen him change those lines quickly over multiple games. So,
and I think probably one of my favorite things is Witherspoon still in there with Peak. I felt like Forbert, he was great at points in the regular season, but Witherspoon, I know he's a rookie. I know a lot of hockey coaches hate going with the rookie, or at least playoff rookie. But Witherspoon's really popped off the screen. He actually had a great clear at the end of last game. I don't know if you recall that, fighting for it.
yeah.
I really appreciate it, and he also brings some offense. He's great at pinching up. He has a good feel, it seems, at different points in the game on when to get involved. So, yeah, I mean,
I think
overall,
he just makes
yeah,
fewer mistakes than the others, which is why he's still there.
yeah. And at this point, what is your prediction for this game? Do you have a goal, a score prediction, anything?
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see an easy game, but I think thinking about like going into Game 7, I think a close one makes it better for us because they get a lot more nervous. They don't feel like I feel like if we blow them out, they're gonna have a chip on their shoulder in Game 7. And
Nice. I like the planning. I like the planning ahead for
I
Game
don't
7.
I don't want them having a chip on their shoulder. That's
Yeah,
great. Um,
you want to kick him in the nuts.
I want them to feel like they were still in this game. They could have won it, so like they don't need to do a
Yeah,
lot more. So I'm hoping a nice close one. I'm gonna say 3-1 with the
empty
empty net.
netter.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. I think this is going to be a slog, whether we like it or not. I think it being at home. I think this game, it's probably going to be. I would say you just kind of stole my thunder. I'll say 3-2. I'll say 3-2. I think Marchand, this is going to be a big kind of legacy game for him in my mind with the rest that he was afforded. Hopefully the concussion didn't affect him too much. I know they never actually disclosed that it was concussion because, hockey, but hopefully that didn't affect him too much and he was able to get some rest. And Marchand really puts a stamp on this game. And like you said, they're moving lines around, whether they like it or not. They don't like they're feeling it, right? They
Yeah.
lost one game, getting in their head. Winning this game, I think we could start buying tickets to a Rangers first round. Third round, Eastern Conference Finals. So
I'm not that confident.
yeah, I'm so confident about us on the road. So confident. So yeah, go Bruins. Thanks for.
I was gonna say one last thing. I think we got to stay out of the box. Like that's been, I think, one of the things that's let us down. So like, clean game, no penalties. Let's do it.
Do you think the refs are going to let that happen?
I mean, when you compare round 1 to round 2, right? They let everything go in round 1, and now it feels like they picked their whistle up again. If they're being consistent, they'll blow penalties, but who knows? They're copying a lot of flack for the way they've been officiating. So
Yeah,
I really don't.
Oilers game was big last night. People were super complaining about that. We'll see if the refs can stay out of it at least a little bit. I think it was a hooking call after we got the first goal. We had like 10 shots there too, and it just killed momentum. I'm glad we were able to close out Game 5, but hopefully the refs don't inject themselves too much to try and get this ratty team. And real quick, we do have one person in chat. Ramona, I appreciate you. Let's go Bruins. 2-1 Bruins in overtime. Overtime, Ramona. Come on. You can't predict an overtime. My heart can't take it.
Fresh legs. Come on.
Oh man, overtime. She's predicting a heart attack for a young calf. So yeah, I really appreciate you stepping in for my dad. I appreciate the optimism. I think my dad would have predicted the Panthers to win 12-0. So it was great having a bit of optimism here. Go Bees. Thanks again.